This may sound a little like out there, like that's why I put this background, because I'm speaking for not much heard of, so I'm speaking for the larger context of like Earth. So I was watching this video where they are talking in terms of the book of Genesis and in terms of where is the Garden of Eden located. So there is biblical references to it. There is, it's like putting the puzzle pieces together and then saying it's not just out there, it's just a philosophical thought, but it's a place on earth which is locatable. So from that video, I will put the link to the video here. But the thing is, it's like, a teacher sees a text and then say, there are some mistakes here. There's a difference in the logic of it. It's contradicting, and things are not seen the way they need to be seen, because there's a lot of work gone into putting this video and thinking in those lines. But then there's another way to look at it. Yeah. So when I am looking at the matter, I see another solution, another way for it, which the person who made the video didn't find, and what becomes possible from getting the matter. Okay, so I'm just going to read out. So in that video, they're quoting Genesis 3 colon 24, 3:24. So it says, so he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. That was understood differently because there's a voiceover on this text, and then it is understood as to prevent man from getting to the Garden of Eden. Yeah, man and mankind, or people with a human body. Yeah, so I'm talking in terms of a language we generally tend to use. We say mankind, and then there's a question of what about womankind? Is womankind not part of it? So there is all of this contention there. But my reference here is to how this text, Genesis 3 colon 24, was understood. Yeah. Okay, so let me just say this. This text is not saying about preventing man from getting to the Garden of Eden, because it says to keep the way of the tree of life. It's like your housekeeping, yeah? And that doesn't mean to prevent. It could also mean to maintain the pathway, to maintain the garden in such a way that you are having the tree of life is growing better. Yeah. What does it take to keep the system functioning? Yeah. Or the pathway functioning such that the tree of life is getting better. Doesn't really mean say to stop you from getting there. Yeah. So let me tell you how that I arrive at that. So I've made a video called The Intro to My Conscience, Music and Sounds of Life Bar Nothing. So I'm referring to that because I have a frame of reference, a way of thinking that solves this problem, yeah, from there being a lack of perspective on what does it take to keep the way such that we are not getting stopped, but in such a way that we are maintaining, making the Garden of Life better, keeping the way of the tree of life. Of let's just say the tree is there's the idea of the tree of life being in the center of the Garden of Eden. Yes, thereabout. In the Garden of Eden, and the tree is very important. There's also the tree of wisdom, which is important. So the tree of life, or let's say tree of life and wisdom, being important in the Garden of Eden, and then the how to make things better such that the tree of life is not getting affected, tree of wisdom is not getting affected, and the biblical references that because that was not honored, they were chased out of the Garden of Eden. Yeah. So let me point out that a text has been read ulta, not as well as it needs to be. So he drove out the man, And he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims. A person, when they are born from a mother's womb, is drove out from the Garden of Eden because it's all fine in mother's womb, all nice and cozy, all taken care of, and just loved it. Yeah. And then I'm sorry, I got a sniffle, but he drove out the man. Yeah, because it was just time to be born. You're just too big. You got to grow out. You've got an entire earth in which to live and all that stuff. Yeah. So the context in which this was said, and what does it take to live in such a way? Like you have a castle, castles have a moat. Yeah, the idea of a castle with a moat that then protects the castle from outsiders, and so it's all safe, like the amniotic fluid. That's one way to look at it. But even say outside the mother's womb, we are on Earth. We like a protection. We have our houses, our doors and locks, and to keep us safe. And like how it was in the womb, to have our own safe space. And while we are growing up, so while others are maybe having a judgment over us, and we still have to grow up and don't quite know what it takes to do the right thing. And so there's an existential angst in several levels. And he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims. Now the thing is east. East is to be understood as E-A-S-T. E as in E is equal to 3 square. So that it takes a little energy for us to move in such a way that we are profitable for the enterprise. For example, we say e-commerce. Earth itself says E-A-R-T-H, or in Indian it's called, well, you could say meaning. Arthashastra is talking about set of meanings, but also money. Yeah. So what does it take to earn meanings, stories, the weave of life in such a way that others would like to work with you, you're beneficial. So there's an existential angst of living a meaningful life and how to do that well enough. Yeah. So the East is like E, the energy that it takes there. And A is like you all have the idea of adultery or a movie, adult movie. But what does it take to be adult enough while we have sexuality concerns? Yeah, which is why humans have been said to be like sinners, because the idea of sex itself is taboo. You don't talk it loud. It's all under several levels of garments, including this idea of the chaddi or the underwear to hide the matter. Yeah, because it's not openly spoken about. Yeah, and underwear is one of the basic garments. Yeah, the Jungle Book, the Mowgli. Yeah, is in the animation series represented as wearing a chaddi, an underwear. Yeah. And it's like the basics of we were born from the mother's womb, and then so the forbidden fruit, yeah, is sex or a relationship with or the pelvis or the things that is not openly spoken about. It's all sacred, and we don't quite know, and we have a lot of hormonal concerns by which to then address. Hormonal concerns show up once you hit puberty, and that's when the teenage years and several kinds of hormones, and hormones are also endocrine or endocannabinoids. Yeah, because secreted from the body, inside the body's processes. Yeah. So in terms of the seven dhatus, it would be referable to Shukra, or that which comes from within, not just as semen, but as that which is secreted from inside the body from several um, cyclical processes or endocrine secretions. Yeah. Now, why am I saying this is this again connects with the frame of reference that I'm speaking from, that I'm calling as my conscience, music, sounds of life, bar nothing. So we have our several concerns, sounds coming from, well, puberty starts one phase, but then as we grow through different stages, there are other hormones that have a place. So it's not just hormones, our muscles move through different metabolic processes. Lifestyle concerns come from how we digest the food. And then I'm saying our body is made up of at least 49 metabolic processes. At least the yoga textbooks talk about 49 metabolic processes, but the how-to of it, where is it, which is that they're talking about, those Lego pieces may not have been put together. Yeah, just like how we have the idea of the book of Genesis, but then, what are they talking about? How is this actually related with the matter? In a way that we can grasp it and, get a hold on reality, and not just be you expected to do something, but don't quite know the roadmap and what is a blueprint, and then we don't quite know the expectations. Yeah, and then we are dealing with existential angst. So what I'm saying here is how we are looking at reality is a little inside out. Yeah. So I'll come to further about it. So I'll just speak in terms of this uh, verse from Genesis 3, yeah, um, 3 and 24. Yeah. 3:24. Okay. So East, A as an adult, the entire thing about sex and, so wisdom and the reference to the apple, the forbidden fruit, yeah, which is kept under the wraps inside the chaddi, yeah, for example. Um, a lot of some levels of body shaming comes from, the pelvis, you don't talk about it. Yeah. So um, um, civilization requires us to talk about it only within the walls, yeah, within sacred spaces. Yeah. So as I said, that which give rise to life, yeah, is not just spoken anyhow, somehow. Yeah. So okay. So the EAS. S is the S hook. It's like what it takes to connect heaven and hell, for example, on earth, or what it takes for us to be on ground, because our body is designed in such a way that feet is on the ground, head standing, the vertebral column standing up with the head on top, eyes facing forward. So we're not flying off, having, taken so long for human evolution to form, and we are just flying off in flights of imagination. So what does it take to um, stabilize us on earth, given that our body is designed in such a way that the feet is on the ground? And so the S hook of it, yeah. So we are hooked with reality, on grounded and centered enough. And then the T is like, you have the tree that has branches that then protects many other, like the reference to the tree of life. Yeah, let's just say both ways. Yeah. So we're not getting imbalance between left and right that way. Yeah. So T is talking about what does it take to, to dash the T's and dot the I's. Yeah. So placed at the east of the Garden of Eden. Yeah. So what I'm alluding to here in this phrase is that English has a lot of codes, just like Sanskrit is a language where sounds have been put together in a particular way to encrypt the matter in small little phrases, such that it's like a password. You say that word, and it's an entire set of uh, a world, a room, or opens up where you can get the whole matter with just one topic, yeah, one heading. Like when we say love, we're talking about something different than what hate is talking about. Or when we say work, when we say it's an entire world that is different from, say, love, or when we say economics, yeah, it's a topic that then is speaking about one particular way of thinking. So in that sense, English is also a language which has been coded over time with many ideas that then comes together as particular phrases, particular words. And the semantics, the what English is containing, by which then this text has been written, when we are not quite seeing it in that way, our construct of reality, and from interpreting this text the way we are, we do not get access to what this text is actually talking about. So our grasp on reality is iffy. Yeah. And we continue to face existential challenges because now I put this background because Earth is doing what other planets are not doing. Yeah. And we have been searching for life for some time. Yeah. So I'm speaking for Earth and I'm also speaking for the universe because we haven't put our construct of reality together in such a way that we are not having diseases. Now, World Health Organization's list of diseases is talking about we haven't figured something very important that Earth has evolved human beings over time for. Yeah. So as you're figuring out things, we are not able to understand what Earth is talking because we haven't been able to understand the language of Earth or language of and the language of or the language of life. Yeah. So I have been thinking about this matter since some time. So hopefully, and I'm sharing slowly. For example, this video. So why am I also doing this is so that you can go back and reference from your own point of view on how much this is true versus not, and how much this aligns with different ideas of what has sustainably stands the test of time. Yeah. So disease and discomfort is lessening. And it becomes easier for us to go beyond the dis-ease, the lack of ease. WHO's list of diseases has listed them. And then to live in such a way that we are alive and not just dying, yeah, or seeking liberation from life, from not knowing, from not figuring out what it takes to be alive on Earth, yeah, and sustainably so. So now, placed at the east of the Garden of Eden, yeah, cherubims. Cherubims are also babies with wings, yeah. Now, from the mother's womb, so I'm going to read it out. So he drove out the man, as like baby being born from mother's womb, and placed at the east of the Garden of Eden. East is also like having the energy enough to then survive, live, thrive. Yeah. East of the and in such a way that you're a blessing. Yeah. We like blessings, but we don't like curses. And then we're not quite reading the fine thing what's there in blessing and curse. There's the spelling of it is holding several codes there. So I'll come to that. So we would like to be a blessing, and people like to look at us beautifully. We like to earn the blessings of people, not curses. Yeah. So what does it take to not become an antisocial element? For example, to live in such a way that we are beneficial, profitable. Placed at the east of the Garden of Eden, cherubims. So born as a baby, yeah, and with wings, we have flights of fancy ideas and how not to fly off, because a human body is designed such that feet on the ground and standing up. So there's this idea of the fallen angel, where it's like the wings have been taken off, yeah, and we are having just a body that's human, and the wings are taken off it, yeah. So there's this idea of Lucifer and all that, yeah. So they say, oh, devil, yeah. But the idea is human body has formed over several generations of evolution, yeah. And how to be a child of life, yeah. So there's this idea of cherubims placed to guard the tree of life in the Garden of Eden, yeah. So babies, how to be a child of life such that you are keeping the way of the tree of life. You are living in such a way that you're maintaining the Garden of Eden, yeah, without causing trouble for the Garden of Eden, such that now that we are born from the mother's womb, we're not chased out of Earth, yeah, because you're, if you're trouble, life gets a little difficult, yeah. You could be grounded, like parents ground children, yeah. So, so how to live in such a way that you're neither grounded nor chased out of the Garden of Eden, which is now that we are born from the mother's womb, we are not chased out even from earth also. Yeah. And then you have existential angst on how to live, how in the world to earn the grace and, of all those people who earn the grace of the Creator. Yeah. And don't know where the Creator is, but we are supposed to do the right things and don't know what the right things are. Okay. So, and a flaming sword which turned every way. Now, if you refer to My Conscience, the video that I'm talking is My Conscience, there's this idea in the idea of the Sri Chakra, there is a dot at the center of it. Yeah. Like Earth is a life maintaining dot, a pale blue dot of the night sky. So we have a lot of unknown things, so many things expected of us, but the clear conscience required, and conscience in such a way, like Earth, that enlivens life. Flaming sword. The word sword has S-W-O-R-D. S word, yeah? Sword, which turned every way. Now, our idea of a sword is a thing that is straight and has an edge, sharp edge on one side or both sides, and it functions in a particular way. That's our idea of a sword. It has a handle on one side and then the sharp end on one side. What they're talking about here is a sphere. A sphere that turns in every way, yeah? A flaming sword. Let's just talk about the idea of the Shishu's gem. Now, this is we could go, I'm going in another tangent. Water, our body is at least 60% water. When the water is laced with, say, alcohol or endocannabinoids, hormones, for example, give us flights of idea. Starts at puberty. Yeah. Puberty is again reference to the tree of wisdom, the forbidden fruit, and we're thinking in terms of sex. And yeah, there is more curiosity about the complementary gender. Yeah. And all of those concerns. Yeah. So I can't say opposite sex. No. Yeah. So we are thinking about another complementary opposite. These dynamics between yin and yang, and male, female, and how does all this work, and which as kids we don't have to think about apparently. Yeah, because kids have hormones which is different from teenage hormones, from adult hormones to senior citizen hormones. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now, flaming sword. When the water is laced with alcohol, we have hallucinations. Water is laced with alcohol, we have hallucinations. So flaming, the F is like pH. F is, say, when we say Aleph, A-L-E-P-H or A-L-E-F. So pH or F can kind of be interchanged in some way. When the pH of our water, in a bodily make, when it's acidic, there's a certain affect. When it's alkaline, there's a certain affect. And then we need both for metabolic efficiency. Yeah. I would say 60% alkaline, 40% acidic. Food gets digested. Okay, so different parts of the body require the pH balance to be different. For example, stomach requires it to be more acidic than alkaline when food is there. And when food is not there, we want it to be more alkaline than acidic, because otherwise we'll have stomach ulcers. Yeah. So we need a different bodily composition to adjust and balance to maintain the substance of our body. And our body itself, the water of our body, to not give rise to hallucinatory ideas. Because then what happens is we are going in our own tangents. We'd like to go to one place, but we are in our own little world, in our own fantastic world, not in touch with reality. So when we are not in reality, when we're not present, when we're not interacting with people from reality, then communication, we have a lot of miscommunications. Yeah. For For example, reading the text somehow and then interpreting it somehow. So parents say one thing, we do something else. When things like that happen, there is existential angst and concerns. Yeah. And they talk about obedience and then you're doing your own stuff. So WHO list of diseases. Yeah. In a home, in a society, in a country. Flaming. So F is like the pH of the body, and that giving rise to existential concerns, hallucinatories. L is like the human body, person standing upright, head standing up, head up and eyes facing forward, feet on the ground, like the letter L. Yeah. So pH affecting our uprightitude, our ability to stand. We could go in our own flights of fancy. A, again, the hormones, for example, the adult concerns that then affects our ability to be in the present moment, while there are developmental concerns. Self-relate, me versus you concerns. Child versus adult, and the entire dynamics, the slimy of the matter, the mucus of the matter. It's slippy, slidey. We don't quite get a grip on reality. One is saying one thing, another thing. So we have differential interpretation of things. So that way, A. Internet also talks about A and then at about. Yeah. So flaming. M is talking about our body has two aspects, nature and nurture. Yeah. So the pH of our body, hallucinatories, yeah, affecting our ability to stand upright, and our interpretation of things, the internet of things, yeah, of how we make sense of things and how we connect things, and our ability to be as just one person who has nature and nurture, two aspects. And then I is our ability to be a person with a dot of a head on top, like the little I. N is our ability to sit on one point. When we sit on a chair, we sit on one point. Yeah. Like N as in nothing, or N as in neutral. Yeah. For us to be neutral on the matter. Otherwise, we are kind of slippy slide between left, right, front, back, up, down, in, out. Yeah. To be in the neutral space. Yeah. Without, and fair, not biased between this or that. Yeah. And G is like, oh my God. Yeah. Like God. So what does it take to be the microcosm in such a way that we like the God, we don't like the devil. Yeah. We like to be the God of the matter because God is looked up to. Yeah. And devil is kind of shunned. Yeah. So we could go into our own hallucinatory pathways, flaming and sword. S as in, hooked with reality, ground on feet on the ground and not just flying off, because we are the fallen angels. We don't have wings and we are children of life and having a body that's human. How to maintain our position, human body formed over several generations, eons of evolution. Yeah. And how to live in such a way that now that we have a body that's human, yeah, and we have a scapula to talk about, there used to be wings. Yeah. Like birds also used to have wings. And we are now evolved from there, because the Archaeopteryx dinosaur that then took flight as a bird and formed the bird species. So after those life cycles also is what human evolution came about. After the dinosaurs, yeah, is where humans have formed. So in our genetic make is also the information of dinosaurs and dragons and all those life forms before, including unicorns. Yeah. So after all these several evolutions, there's a human evolution that's formed. Yeah, we are standing on 2 feet, vertebral stack, head on top, eyes facing forward. It's taken a long time for this form to form. Yeah, this human body to form. And our scapula is talking about there used to be wings, so not having flights of fancy. And how to balance our posture in such a way that our left versus right scapula is not imbalanced, because then our heart is facing a problem. Yeah. So pranic healers talk about the twin heart meditation to maintain the balance between left and right. That's also reference to, we have left and right scapula, the wing bone, yeah, the wing blades, and to maintain a balance in such a way that we are not all lopsided, having, say, scoliosis, for example, or any of those concerns. So to maintain the vertebra aligned and fine. Yeah. Flaming sword, S, and then word. W is like who? It's like you and you, like me and you. Okay, when we say I love you, there's I and there's you. So when you represent the word for the heart, the symbol of the heart to represent love, which means there are two aspects to our body, like the word, like the letter M. Yeah, we have nature and nurture, two aspects. And in our relationship, there is an I and then there's a you. And how we are related makes a difference in, are we friends or are we enemies? Yeah. So when we say W, there is you and you, like you, when you regard yourself as a person worthy of being attention to, loved and cared, like how we are expected to meet expectations of others, or for you, you know, treat your neighbor as thy own, and yeah, so the nature, the country, different people, regard people with with respect, honor, and dignity. So these are all timeless wisdom, values. So so we, while we have existential angst, they did this to me, I'm supposed to do this, I want to do this, but then I'm allowed to, not allowed to. So we have these existential angst concerns, and then how to get to having the benefits of it. So how do we regard you? Yeah, when we say I love you, what is a relationship with the word you itself? You, as in Y-O-U. Why are we in existence? What's the whole of the matter? And our relationship with you as in a container, like we have a glass. When we have water poured in, like a body is like a container, yeah, having at least 60% water. So there's the idea of Santa um, 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 bringing gifts during Christmas and then filling the stockings. Yeah, that's like stockings are to be worn on our legs, with our um, boots, of legs touching the ground. Yeah, so that's a reference to stockings is also the skin of our body. Yeah, the matter of the skin, where boots is not quite capturing the same idea. So stockings is talking about the fabric of our body. Yeah, it's also the skin. And then so a body is like a life is contained in us. So the idea of the U, the letter U, is talking about water being contained like in a glass. Yeah. So when we are say, I recommend keeping a glass of water from which you drink, so you remember that we are a life is contained in us, and when we are taking care of the glass, our body, similarly, then health, wealth, and wisdom is maintained. That also requires how we take care of the body, the water that's a make. So W-U-U, as in my regarding yourself as one of the you that you need to take care of, or respect, honor, regard with dignity, just as others. Treat others as well as you treat yourself. Sometimes we don't treat ourselves well. And then, and we are living with this one person all through our lifetime. Yeah. And then when we are able to take care of ourselves with respect, honor, and dignity, being gentle, kind, and mindful, and then to treat others similarly, respect, honor, and dignity, gentle, kind, kind, and mindful, gentleness, kindness, and mindfulness. Yeah, it becomes then easier to then relate with people in a way that is gentle, kind, and mindful. We are not being a harm, you're not being a trouble to others. And that has others live fine too, because you're not a safety threat for them. Yeah. When you're not a safety threat for them, then they are less likely to kill you anytime soon, or want to kill you, or curse you anytime soon. Yeah. So that way. So the flaming sword. So SWUU, O as in the wholesomeness of the matter. R is like Rig Veda. So this is where the Eastern way of thinking comes, so you say the word of the Lord, yeah, you say Rig Veda, that which is uttered kind, or the Raya, or that which is arising from the Ra, yeah. So this idea of the Ra is the sun god, yeah. When we wake up in the morning, when the light is on, is when we start talking. Otherwise, we are sleeping, yeah, like in the mother's womb. You go to sleep, and then you wake up in the morning, and the sun is up, and and then you start talking, yeah. So Ra, Rig Veda. Rig Veda is also in talking terms of what we utter, the word that we speak, or that which, when you say chair, a chair appears, or you do things to have a chair be there because you like to have a chair, yeah. So what do you utter in such a way that things are happening, yeah. Um, and D, whew, is what it takes to be the devil or the fallen angel, yeah, because we have to maintain the C, the care of the matter, and maintain our right, do the right thing, like the letter D, little letter D. So there's a care. D is written with a small arc, like the letter care, and care the right way. The unlike the letter P, which has a line in the left side, yeah, where the left is more important, and then there's a care in the ulta direction, yeah, uh, the opposite direction, C. D is where you care the right way, yeah, how to do things the right way, because there's the idea of the fallen angel, but we are here on earth, standing on 2 feet. We don't have wings, but to do the right things, because, well, we have people with a human body. We don't have flying people, yeah, with wings, like birds. And forming humans has taken a long time, yeah. So how to live now? So he drove out the man, yeah, and then to live as a human being. So the idea of the Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, how to maintain being alive and happy, healthy, wise, wealthy, wise in the Garden of Eden, requires us to not go into hallucinatories, flaming sword, okay? And the flaming sword which turned every way, like the sphere, like the dot at the center of the Sri Chakra. So we're not going into hallucinatories, and then losing our access to being in the garden of life. Let's just say, like water, you require water to garden to water the Garden of Eden, because that's when the garden grows. When you're not being like water, Bruce Lee, Mr. Bruce Lee also speaks about be water, my friend. So how to be water in such a way that we are not getting hallucinatories and going off into flights of ideas, not in touch with reality. That's one part. Okay. And a flaming sword which turned everywhere to keep the way of the tree of life. You need to be water to maintain the Garden of Eden, to be the tree, a cherub guarding the tree of life, how to be that child of life, not having to, so how do you, ancient people, they found a way to code the matter at a time when there was not this internet. Yeah. They had to write on papers, um, leaves, or make paintings, or make sculptures by which to communicate the matter. Yeah. So they've coded the matter, encrypted their thought lines in verses like this. Yeah. And so how then do you say to live in such a way that you're watering the garden of life? Yeah. And being like the tree, because the tree stands upright, like rooted in the ground and standing upright. And then like a tree converts carbon dioxide into oxygen. Yeah. So this is the idea of the photosynthesis. But how do you live in such a way that you're converting the gunk, um, hallucinatories? We eat food, we eat carrot. It doesn't go and sit in our body as carrot. It becomes muscles and bones and all of the different material. So how to, similarly, the food that goes in, how do you metabolize in such a way, including, say, there is fertilizers, for example, or there is microplastics, there is um, um, even the carrot and the beetroot and the stuff we eat, which metabolizes. if it's not properly digested, we have indigestion concerns, constipation, diarrhea. Yeah. So how to metabolize the matter in such a way that we are not going into hallucinatories. We even have sugar and salt, and these are all crystalline. Crystals give rise to hallucinations. Yeah. So when we are, how to maintain our body composition in such a way, even alcohol, when we have alcohol, we go into hallucinations. So how to maintain the water of the body in such a way that we are like Earth. Other planets don't know how to maintain life like Earth. Yeah. And people have been looking since some time. So how to have an Earth-like composition such that we are watering the garden of life. How to be the tree of life, tree of wisdom, tree of life. Where wisdom is also talking about, the tree of wisdom is talking about the forbidden fruit. And how to work with the endocannabinoids, which keeps getting produced from our body in being an adult human being since puberty. I mean, since childhood, there is different kinds of hormones that affects our human body that then forms, because of which a baby drinks milk and gets digested in the body. It takes some hormones for that, yeah, digestive hormones. Similarly, we are never not at the effect of hormones. Yeah. And then there are different kinds of hormones. So it's not just about hormones, there are also muscles, and there's blood, and then there's gas, and there's earth, water, fire, spirit, space. Spirit also. So we also have endocannabinoids. We have endocrine hormones, which also then gives rise to hallucinatories. Over and above which we have sugar and alcohol, and according to the occasion. But it's about the metabolism. When a metabolism is not good enough, that's when we have lifestyle diseases. And WHO's list of diseases talking about, we haven't figured out what it takes to not have diseases and not have longevity concerns. Longevity concerns is when you are not functioning like the tree in the Garden of Eden and living life or maintaining the Garden of Eden or maintaining life better, because otherwise, like how we got kicked, kind of, yeah, pushed out of mother's womb, Earth might push us out because we are not being so beneficial. So we don't want to go out of the Garden of Eden now that we are on Earth. And it's taken a long time for us to be on Earth, yeah, to have a body that's human and then evolve enough to be qualified to be a human in the Garden of Eden, Earth, yeah. And that requires force. So the video that I'm referring to is talking about 4 rivers that come together to nourish the Garden of Eden, and then flows, heads out in their own way. So they're coming together to nourish the Garden of Eden, and then heads out in their own way, is what the video is talking about. And this video is talking about the book of Genesis. Now, what are the 4s which need to come together? I am calling it in my conscience, what I'm calling. I will make that a little clearer. So I'm beginning to make my frame of reference clear, so it becomes easier for us to figure out the bits of information that we need to put together so we are more sustainably healthy, wealthy, wise in the Garden of Eden. Yeah. And not just going into hallucinatories. So, so Earth is not having to, Earth, life in the universe is not having to push us off from, now that we are on Earth and having body that's human. So in such a way that we are not also being one among WHO's list of diseases. Yeah. So 4, I call it as Ma-Pa-Da-Ni. Now, A is, I'm speaking in terms of, adult. You have a body that's human. Hormones, yeah. Endocrines, yeah. The A of the matter, like at about, just about, well, A. It's quite a heavy matter here. But we wouldn't have their alphabets, Aleph bets. It's all again talking about A. So it's plan A to Z, all to back plan A. How to be alive. And ace, the race. Yeah, you get the matter and you are being the one. Yeah, or the one who's zero enough, sphere enough to contain the matter that's life. You're like Earth. Yeah. Now, The four ma, pa, da, ni. Yeah, let's just say A is common in all of this. M, P, D, and N. Yeah, N is like neutral enough. Yeah. And ni is talking about, well, it's like, the little human, a little I. So person that's standing upright with a head on top. Yeah, ni. So let's kind of remove the A and I. Ma, pa, the has A, and ni, one human being. So let's say now the ni, the N bit is neutral, I is a human being, little human. Yeah. Let's go to the. That's a soft, it's like dashi. Our body is at least, they say dashavatara, dashami. Yeah. The muscle, how the muscle of our body from, say, the mother's ovary, tiny little dot, yeah, over time forms muscle, and then now we have a muscle from being human in a human composition, and for which we need to have developed the framework, the skeletal framework of a human, and then have the muscles. And muscles, there's a C, the care bit. How to care in such a way that we're maintaining the human composition. So the is like the dashi, the muscles, or um, the substance of the muscle. Muscles themselves are like endocrine hormones. When we expand and contract, when the muscles are expanding and contracting, hope is maintained. Hope for being human, for maintaining being human. When we move our muscles regularly, yeah, expand and contract, we work. We could get so tired. You don't want to get disease from how much of work you're doing. So you also need to regularly rest. And then after you rest a while, again you work. After you work a while, you rest. So which is why the muscles are talking about expansion, contraction, like a breath. There's an inhalation and there's you go to a maximum. You don't go beyond that. Yeah. Otherwise, a substance get a little stretchy. Inhale, and after a certain point, we exhale. Yeah. And then after a certain point, there's there's a rest, and then there's a new breath. Yeah. Now, how to maintain this within a certain limit such that you don't have to die to then have another life from by which to inhale. So this reincarnation cycles is not happening. Yeah. In the sense that's how that cycle is happening during our bodily make itself. So there is the birth, the poiesis and the apoptosis, the cell cycle. Yeah, the birth and death cycles in our bodily composition. So muscles, bones, different tissues, they have their own um, life cycle, maintaining there is new cells formed. Yeah. So how to take care of our body and our metabolism in such a way that the life cycle is happening within our cell cycles, and our whole body doesn't have to go through this, reincarnation cycles. Yeah, because our whole body goes through so many changes. It's like when the software is regularly updated, yeah, we are up to date with how to live healthily. We are, what is required and how to function in such a way that you're doing what Earth has been doing since some time, which is enlivening life, maintaining life, and having the substance for generating new life, evolving life such that even human beings formed over time. And human beings as a design, ooh, that's taken some time. Other planets don't know to do this. Yeah. So people who don't know to do this, what Earth is doing, they get um, pushed out of the Garden of Eden. Yeah, like from mother's womb we were born. Yeah. So we do want to go from Earth. Yeah. We are like employees, like an organization employs people. So we do want to face attrition. Yeah. So how do we for profit for the enterprise? Is when we are doing things like the tree of life, enlivening life, making things better with the wisdom. While we have endocannabinoids and we have the apple concern, sexuality, and then our relationship between child and father and um, neighbors and different sizes and groups of people, and not get lost in, oh, the sexuality about it. And it's like, oh, the mucusy of that. Yeah. Which is why we wear underwear. The underwear is a good, nice reminder of there is the basics here. And this is under wraps and it's sacred. Yeah. We have three kings, the pee hole, willy hole, and the poop hole, to talk about, oh, they are, oh, dirty, yucky. But if you don't regularly have things going out of there, yeah, life gets very, your office kind of gets a little, that's a functioning as well. It's like the drainage needs regularly work. Otherwise, you have existential concerns. Yeah, these are also the untouchables. Yeah, you don't just mess with all of that. Yeah, uh, because we're otherwise regarded as sinners. Yeah, so how to maintain the clarity of the matter, which is also referred to as the tree of wisdom. Yeah, so we are being civil. Civilization requires us to regard different aspects of these, of the garden of life, in due respect. Yeah. Okay. To keep the way of the tree of life. Yeah. So I've spoken about this bit. That video has several other aspects, but it's kind of said, to prevent us from. So there's a lack of perspective, or how it is interpreted, how the texts are interpreted is not as well as it needs to be. So I hope this video gives you pause for thought. So thank you so much for listening. I hope this has been of value to you. There.